this computer. Cool. Recording.
Man, I got that magnet thing that Jeff uses to organize your windows. It's pretty awesome.
You're into that?
You can snap it from side to side.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about this custom crawls endpoint and how it works and how to get it, testing it on your machine.
Yes.
Evan, that's probably the best place to start. Pat, if you feel like interjecting at any point here, feel free. Cool. So first thing I'm going to do, because we should make this as friendly to newcomers as possible. What are we, API?
So basically, all right. So what I know about APIs is they're a way I can access things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I tried, which I knew wasn't going to work, but what I tried was basically just pasting in that URL and the token thing into Archiver Tools.
And that didn't work.
I couldn't encode the token
into JSON.
I guess.
I have the sense that you guys are looking at a page or a document together.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We're kind of sort of talking past that. I'm going to paste the link in the chat. No, that's not the link.
Went somewhere else.
Oh my!
I threw the error message up on GitHub if that's useful at all.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. Let's also get all this going in the Hackathon notes. That's
yeah. I'm happy to update it if you guys just keep talking and drop things in chat.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So let's keep going on that. I don't think we're gonna have licensing chat tonight, and I don't think we might get to work stuff. But yeah. Okay. So just looking at the Data Tailor API repo. So what steps you should be able to do, Evan, to test this stuff out? You should be able to git clone. So if you go on your machine, you should be able to you don't even need to go. Yeah. Just git clone this thing. You need Docker, and then Docker compose up, and that should start a server at localhost 3200.
Okay. And so once I start a local server, I can actually point to something.
Yeah, you can ping that thing all day long because that's going to spin up a copy of the API server and a Postgres database that will actually record all the entries back. So it's a for real instance of the whole thing. Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, you're going to need the identity server on top of that to do auth stuff. Let me make sure that that's actually in the Docker compose file. Oh, there is
one interjection.
Yeah, go for it.
May I? Is there any sort of I guess normally when I would see a repository like this, and I would expect, or I would maybe hope the URL for the API would be kind of somewhere prominent. I'm not seeing it in the README or. Is it public yet? Can I update that?
It's generally public. Yeah, it's well, no, it's because we're hoping to move it. So yes, you could totally publish it if you're willing to publish it again. Current endpoint is https://api.archivers.co. And if you hit that, and then docs endpoint is that same thing. Plus.
Oh, thanks.
Actually, Pacon, this would be massively helpful if you are aware of this and able to sort of police it at all. You don't need to do anything if you don't have time, but you hit that endpoint. This docs, so this is now the API server includes a documentation link. The problem is, and it's the documentation link is written in Swagger, which is the Open API definition thing. And so the thing I really want to do for Evan and to get this working better, so one of the three of us should document how the custom crawls endpoint actually works and get it into the Swagger thing so that, Evan, you have a reference at any given point to understand pieces of it and what responses you should expect, and then we should write a unit test and make sure all that happens.
Right, because I just don't have any experience that much with APIs, and I was like, well, I handed a URL destination, and maybe it hands me something back.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. What's up, Matt Kelly? But yeah, I think that's the thing we should work on the most is getting that clean for you so that you have a piece of reference material to read as you're reading through this. But
okay.
I think if you want something where you can just kick tires and like one of the best ways to sort of like understand an API is to use just curl and like curl it and understand how it works. And that's,
okay, so I curl like all those URLs that you have in the API. Okay.
Particularly if you've cloned that repository and you're running the Docker Compose thing, you know that you're immune to all. Like,
Right. Yeah.
That's so, yeah. Go ahead. What's up, Echo?
These are sweet docs, by the way. Just saying.
Oh, it's nice when it's auto-generated. It's a lot easier.
So you had to do work to get it there.
Oh my God, writing that stupid Swagger file is awful, but we'll get there. It's been on my list of things to do to clean up that and just add the custom crawls endpoint documentation. But what I should do, in lieu of not having that documentation, is link you to where the custom crawlers info is in the code, so that you can at least see.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Custom crawl handlers.
Are you putting this in like the agenda or something? Because I'm not seeing it updating. I don't know.
I think you have to refresh unless you're on if you go to the edit button in the little corner,
right.
then you'll see a more live one. Otherwise, it's static.
I forgot. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Code links. Matt, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to just paste a copy of our agenda notes so you can follow along. That's helpful. There you go. Clerk, indeed. So here's code. Here's a link to the crawl handlers. That's probably the best way. So just to give you a feel, I'm looking at line 10 of that file I just dropped into the notes. Actually, I'll just share my screen. Is that easier, guys?
Yeah, that's pretty
There's
good.
notes on like one side and then you on the other.
I'll share my screen just so
Okay.
the recording will make a lot more sense if we're not just referencing like empty stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, just looking at this file inside of API, we're looking at these two files, right? The custom all handlers and custom requests. And so I'd sort of gone over this briefly, but like this outlines everything you can do to those custom crawl handlers. And then the other most important file you need is actually the server.go. Outlines this line, custom crawls. So this is where you actually connect the URL endpoint, so /custom crawl, and then that links it to the thing. And then in Go's like standard handler, /custom crawls with the following slash is different. So if that's an individual, so custom crawls without the following slash, trailing slash is the like list option. So list all the custom crawls.
Yeah.
Custom crawls with the trailing slash is expecting that you're going to give it an ID or some sort of individual crawl. And so that pattern is pretty much like across the board. It's primer, it's primers, and one thing you're going to go primer / ID. Cool. And so getting out of server and going.
How do I work with that though? Because so far I've just been doing it through archiver tools. And I think what it does is when you do like archiver tool .commit, basically, that's when it touches
that actually sends stuff. Yeah. And so we may need to like sew in a specific like it might make sense to actually write logic inside of that .commit that goes and does all of these API calls.
Okay, because I was like, should I pass in the API calls through the commit?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to review the archiver tools code yet, so I'm a little bit. I don't know where you're at in that code base, but yeah, once someone has a chance to look at it.
Okay, maybe Jeff and you can tackle that next week.
That's a great idea. I think we'll have a look, but. I think it would make sense for you to sort of get a feel for what's going on with the API to begin with. On top of the custom crawls endpoint, you're probably going to need the identification stuff, which is like your where is that? Is that the identity server? That might be. So you may actually need that should be proxied through the current API. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Let's cover that somewhere later before jumping topics here. This. Custom crawl handler, and these things are the things that get hooked up. So that custom crawls plural is basically all you can do with the list is you can get the list. You can actually save an individual by posting just to the top level, because if you want to create a new one, you don't have an ID yet. So
yeah.
Let's have the same one, and then by default it's going to tell you, I don't know what's going on, so I've added it.
Right.
And then we have actually there should be an options line here, but yeah, so options just says okay, yeah, give me a single custom crawl, save a custom crawl, and delete it.
Okay.
So it's all just switching on the request method. And then so the actual logic of what happens, that all happens inside of custom crawl requests, which just like is like, how do I read this? How do I save it? What do I do? So this is like the internal logic. You probably won't need to go this far. The file that you'll probably need more is our core. So we have data together. We have a core repository. And what this is just, this is all of our model definitions. So this is like how, so the custom crawl actual like definition of what it is, is this thing. And so I'm going to punch a link to this in the notes.
Yeah, so maybe I should start there and like drill down in the code from there.
It's worth understanding this because like, yeah, basically this thing automatically encodes and decodes from JSON. So like these like JSON version URL, these things are, so if you create a JSON object that is, has a created and updated and a JWT token and all the stuff that we've talked about for a while.
Yeah.
You create that and then you spin up the API server and then you post with this stuff. It will automatically sort of work. That being said, you're going to need to identify yourself, so you'll actually have to create a user account.
On data together, right?
Yeah, and then that has a JWT endpoint, which we should look at that too. First, I should paste this into the notes. Where's the hackmd? Awesome, here it is. Boom. Okay. Identity.
It's 6:20 just as a time check.
Cool. Yeah, this will be 2 more minutes. This is actually, I don't know if this is helpful, but like I think just
it's really helpful
recording, particularly because Jeff can take a look at this later. It's super helpful. So the JWT handlers and all, so Identity has its own API server, but the API actually proxies a bunch of calls to Identity. So if you want to do anything on the API server that requires like posting, you have to provide it with some sort of authorization. Identity accepts a number of different authorization types, including a JWT. So you can actually, and we implement the JWT spec pretty close to the way it's supposed to be. So if you, I think you can just do a get to JWT, even on the API server, because the API server actually like goes and talks to Identity in the background.
Yep. But so I'm going to create a JWT token on the Docker image that I run?
No, so you'll actually spin up the service and then you'll create an account on the service, which will be just a Docker running on your machine, right? I'm just going to quickly check API to make sure that it's actually proxying properly. Yeah, this is like a proxy for the user. It's been a while since I've looked at this code. Server, health check docs, users, coverage, collection, custom problems. It's like that's the Let's Encrypt endpoint. You can actually set up a Let's Encrypt certificate for this thing automatically. It's fun. I think you have to okay, let's check to make sure the Docker file actually, where's the Docker compose? Docker compose, there we go. Yeah, so Docker this is where this works. Okay, so when you type Docker compose up from API, it's going to spin up 2 servers that you can talk to, not just one. One of them is on port 3200, which is, and you can read that here. So API port 3200. So as soon as you do Docker compose up, and this it's going to spit out all of this yak, and it's going to say like Postgres is starting and like all this stuff. But then it will also on port 3100, so localhost 3100, it will spin up the Identity server, and so that's where you could read about that. Identity, and Identity it's structured the exact same way, so you can expect to go to this server go. This is where, so you can actually post to users, I think, and that creates a user. And you can actually do a get if you're authorized. So if you do a post to a user, it's going to give you back a cookie, and you hand it back. You can just do a get to a JWT point with that cookie, and it gives you a JSON link.
Okay.
We have outlined some of this in an issue. I think on here. No, somewhere. JWT. This organization. I don't know. I'll find it and add it to the notes later. So we got running low on time, but I want to leave time for questions. There's a lot, but what I'd recommend is like basically you can clone the API repo, run Docker Compose up, and if you can get the thing working, like just start to play around with the service. Apparently, I need a new version of Java 8. This is really not the right time. Yeah, and so yeah, if you spin that thing up, it should look good.
Okay, sounds good.
And then we should have a chat next week about how that's going and talking to Jeff about getting that all up and running. Yeah, I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Cool. Do you have any burning questions from that, Evan, or can I ask Matt a quick question about?
Go for it. I get a slight understanding, and I think I can play around with it to get further. Maybe.
Yeah, I would encourage your sense of play, right? Like you don't need to like have this figured out right now, and we can sort of like go from there. Matt, don't know if you're able to talk, but if you are, that's cool. If not, that's totally fine. I'm hoping to get a PR going on a proper implementation of the work spec. No audio video. Yeah, okay. No worries at all. Why did I chat that to you? I can talk to you. This is hard. My brain keeps crossing communication. So the big thing is that we're hoping to get a pull request going on a proper implementation of the work spec. And if possible, do you mind if I tag you assign you as a reviewer on that? Is the only question I have for you, Pat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Everybody, cool. Yeah. So I think that's the other. And so the last thing I wanted to kind of close with is I have checked out work by the 1.1. This is for dealing with HTTP 2, is it not? To deal with push. I think this is the huge issue. I haven't had a chance to read through the spec fully yet. So just as a note to anybody who's listening, the work spec hasn't changed or hasn't solidified in a long. Work 1.1 has been in the works for a long time, and it just landed in a big way. So there's now a new shiny new version of Web Archives that adds a few things. So we have to go look at that now and make sure that works, which is only more complication. But yeah. Don in an earlier meeting asked us to sort of outline goals for the 14th meeting. I think having a goal of getting your custom crawl script to run once before we get that thing and post to data together would be an awesome goal. Are you down for that, Evan? Assuming that we can get Jeff involved and that sort of like set aside some time.
I definitely need some time and then technical help too. I don't know if Pat Con, you're around too. So sounds like you're sort of knowledgeable.
I have not been very involved the last couple weeks, and I'm a little bit unavailable. But
that's fine.
But I'm in the process of catching up. Maybe just ping me, but don't be angry at me if I'm not yet caught up and not yet able to take on a new thing.
I think, okay, you know what? I'm going to back away from this entire goal and say that everybody's so busy right now. It's insane. And so let's regroup. Like, let's keep working on this if we can, but if we don't make it, I'm not going to lose it. But I would love to I'm going to try and get the documentation working for this thing properly so that everybody can see how to.
Yeah, I was a little concerned that like come January, we were losing like Jeff and Don. And I was like, holy crap, like that's a lot of like expertise that is going away.
Losing them? How are we losing
We're not like, they're both busy. We're not like losing them for good, but I think they're taking a step back.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. I think, but I do think that we're going to have some exciting developments in terms of resourcing things. Just because we'll more to come on that subject. I think it's been a long time coming that we give Jeff and Don a break.
Yeah.
So I'd be looking forward to that. On that note, it's 6:28, which is going to get back on exactly 100 minutes to prep for his next meeting.
I just wanted to say that I think these documentation ones are good first timer issues. So maybe, I don't know, we could just kind of try to like really, I don't know. And maybe Eben, you are first timer enough. I feel like I could be a first timer on this, but it's super low hanging. And I think we could even get someone like outside the project with not much context, like filling it, improving the Swagger docs. Yeah. If we want to do that.
Yeah. The Swagger docs thing is like something that I just like cannot find time to get to because I have so many other things going on, but like it's a YAML file and there's and I think there's instructions on how to generate the like pretty documentation from that thing.
Okay.
That like if someone could update the custom crawls thing with that, I'd be, even if we could just create an issue saying that we want help on it and mark it first timer.
Yeah. I did that.
Of course you did. Dope. Okay. Well,
you can tag me, PatCon, on that one. That's fine.
This feels like it's been highly productive. I apologize for talking ad nauseam, but
that's fine.
No, it gave me time to write. So
yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool. I'll see you guys on the community call, possibly if you have time.
Yeah. Bye. I'm not going to make it, unfortunately. I got to do more query stuff, but yeah. We'll chat soon.
Totally okay. Yeah. Later, Brandon.
Bye.
Bye.